You ever sit back and look at your first few years in the hobby? I'm talking about the era where you didn't have a local game store. Or maybe you had one and the guy behind the counter didn't know any more than you did. You had a box set, maybe Holmes, maybe Moldvay, and a bunch of dice that probably didn't even have the numbers filled in yet. Maybe you used a crayon, maybe chits. Or you only had 2 out of 3 of the 1E hardback books. Remember that? We were all artists, just trying to make the tools work as best we could. And back then, we were in silos. And the modern narrative, the one you hear from some of the big RPG busybodies and the corporate marketing departments, is like silos were a problem. They tell us that isolation was a bug that the internet somehow fixed. And they say, isn't it great that we're all connected now? Isn't it wonderful that you can see how everyone else plays and how to play it right? But I want to challenge that today. Because when we were in those silos, we were free. If your group thought a combat round was, 10 minutes or 10 seconds, you played it that way for 3 years and had a blast. If your group, guilty, thought that HD was actually HP because you didn't have the monster manual, and your ogres had 4 plus 1 hit points, 5, and your party was tearing through stuff for that first summer, that's how you learned, right? There was no sage advice on the internet. There was no Twitter mob to tell you were ruining the balance of the game. There was no official facts that could be found for free that invalidated your favorite house rule. You were the king of your own basement. And I'm starting to think that by tearing down those walls, we didn't gain a community. We just lost our local legends. We traded organic, homegrown culture for a standardized, bleached out version of the hobby that looks the same from New York to Seattle to Tokyo. We've been homogenized, and we're calling it progress. And let's talk about how information actually moved back then. It moved at the speed of a snail, or the U.S. mail, depending on how you looked at it. If you were lucky, you'd get a copy of The Dragon or White Dwarf. And maybe, just maybe, you'd see a letter to the editor about a rule. But by the time you read that letter, your group had already fixed that rule 3 different ways. You had already spent 6 months playing your own version of it, and you were good. And this created what I will call regional dialects. Now think about language. If you live in a valley and there's a mountain between you and the next town, after 100 years, you're going to speak differently. Think about before TV, right? Different parts of this country had different dialects in the U.S. Now, it's pretty much homogenous. Well, gaming was exactly the same way. If you learned to play in New York City, your game had a certain flavor. It was probably practical, it was fast, it may have been a little cynical. You learned to keep your head down and your hirelings in front of you. And, I don't know, you went 3 towns over in Jersey, or even further, Pennsylvania or Midwest, and you're playing a different version of the game that sounds like a completely different system because they interpreted, I don't know, a paragraph on page 12 differently than you did. We didn't have a standard. We had mutation. Every table was an island where the game evolved to suit the people sitting there. That's organic culture. It's messy, it's inconsistent, it's occasionally broken by modern standards, and it's beautiful. But look at what we do now. If a rule is even slightly ambiguous, the first instinct most players have is to, well, I'm not going to talk to people at my table. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to find out. I'm going to find on my phone what the real rule is, because there's a rule for everything. And the 10 seconds it takes them to find a ruling from some developer or expert, a little bit of that organic magic it dies. It poofs. You stop being a curator. You stop being a referee. You become a consumer of someone else's logic. You've outsourced your brain to a guy in a studio 3,000 miles away who has never met your players and doesn't give a flying F about your campaign. Here is the thing that the influencer class, that should be a short in 5e, and the corporate types don't really want you to realize. This online community we're all part of, this thing we spend all day arguing about, it's a tiny, noisy, self-important fraction of the hobby. Seriously. We sit here on YouTube or argue on Discord or get work done on Reddit, and we start to believe that we are the center of the gaming universe. And when there's like a controversy about, I don't know, the updated OGL or a new edition or some problematic piece of art, we think the whole world is shaking. And it generally isn't. It's a bubble. We're in this bubble. There's a massive hidden majority out there. There are guys who haven't bought a book since the Reagan administration, or the Clinton administration, or the Obama administration. There are groups of kids in high school right now, this second, who bought a beat-up copy of the Rules Encyclopedia at a garage sale and are playing it in a way that would make a professional DM, old-time DM, have a physical breakdown. Because they're ignoring the meta. They don't know who the big names are. They don't know who these creators are. And they don't care about the latest how to be a great GM video. And you know what the dirty little secret is? Those people are probably having more fun than we are because it's pure. Think about it. They aren't playing and performing for an audience like these live plays. They aren't worried about whether they're following the correct procedures for a hex crawl. They aren't stressed about the community. They are the silent majority. They're the ones actually keeping the heart of this hobby beating while we're busy dissecting the corpse online. They are still in their silo, and God bless them for it. They are protected from the noise, the distractions. They're playing the game while we are essentially playing the internet. The OSR was supposed to be the movement that got us back to all that. It wasn't just about THACO or Gold for XP or making sure your torches burned every 10 minutes and counted down to the eye. It was supposed to be about recovering the DIY mindset. It was about saying, this is our game. This table belongs to us, not the brand, not the publisher, and certainly not the internet. But the internet has a way of turning even the OSR into a standard. We start arguing about what is true OSR and what isn't. What is OSR? I've done it. We start making lists of the top 10 OSR procedures you must use, and I don't have a list. I just do procedure videos. Pick and choose what fits your table. We're building new silos, but they're made of glass. Everyone is still looking over their shoulder to make sure they're doing it right according to the latest YouTube video. And I'll be honest with you, the only way you can do it right is if it works for your table. And if it works for your table, then you're doing it right. Break the glass. Go back to being wrong. If you want an organic gaming culture, you have to be intentional about it. You have to be willing to be isolated. You have to turn off the advice videos. And yeah, maybe that includes this one. Look at the people at your table. What do they actually like? What weird house rule did you accidentally invent last session that everyone is still talking about? Keep that. Foster that. Don't look it up to see if it's balanced. Who cares about balance? Balance is for accountants. Balance is shit. We're here for the adventure. Don't ask for permission from the internet. Don't ask for a consensus. The internet is a tool. It's great for buying a PDF of a zine from a guy in Sweden or Finland. And it's great for looking at maps. But it's a terrible, poisonous place to find the soul of your campaign. That only happens when you focus on the dice, the spilled beer, or Mountain Dew. Some of us don't drink beer at the table. And the people in the room with you. We don't need necessarily more connectivity. We need more independent tables. We need more people who are brave enough to play a game that doesn't look like a polished live stream. We need more silence. I want to thank the Tavern's minions, all 210 or so of you. You're the reason I can sit here and quite literally yell at the clouds. You're the ones who realize that the community is what happens between you and your players, not just what happens in a comment section. If you're new here and you like this kind of unvarnished talk, join us. Join Joe the Lawyer. Join the Greyhawk Grognard, Joe Block, because we're all doing collabs on the same general topic. Their links are below. If you like what I said, watch theirs. If you think I was full of shit, watch theirs. Subscribe if you haven't, but please, more than anything, go build your own silo. Protect your table from the noise. Shut the door, turn off the router, and play the game your way. I'm Tenkar. I'll be at the bar if you need me. Go run some damn D&D. God bless. I'll talk to you soon.